So yeah, you guys, Tangram Vision, market yourself as Perception DevOps. So what's your backstory? What's the company?
Sure. So actually our entire company has a background in sensors and perception. Prior to this, we all worked at a company called Exhibitor, which made a depth sensing platform called Structure Sensor and SDK. And what we found at Exhibitor is we went to sell our sensor to different robotics companies. They would face challenges integrating our sensor into their platform. And my co-founder and I, we went back and revisited some of those conversations, and we discovered actually it wasn't our sensor that they had challenges with, it was all sensors. And so there are just these fundamental building blocks to perception that still remain difficult, and our goal is to just make them simpler.
And why do you think they still remain difficult?
Part of it, I think, is just interoperability challenges. You've got a number of different manufacturers of different modalities. Typically, they make software to support their own sensor or their own modality, but it's rare to find a robotic or autonomous vehicle platform that uses a single sensor. They use multiple sensors. This is a problem that's still not addressed. The other thing is that it's just simply hard. This is really at the intersection of code and mathematics. Not everybody has those skill sets. It's rare to find people who do. And so our thinking is that by effectively putting this into software, we'll make it simpler for companies that maybe don't have those resources.
Yeah. I mean, is part of it also the way that companies are developing products without the mindset of making it very easily open source or interoperable?
In terms of sensor manufacturers?
Yeah.
Perhaps. I think oftentimes when you're a sensor manufacturer, and this was the case for us at Exhibitor, you don't really pick a specific market because sensors themselves are sort of generic data collection tools.
Yeah.
And so as a result, you end up with a lack of specialization for the software and for the data format, and it's up to the user to go that extra mile to make it perform in whatever manner they need it to.
Yeah, okay. And so what are you guys doing exactly?
Sure. So our software platform manages a lot of these complex and, to some people, tedious sensor infrastructure tasks. At its core, it's a sensor fusion software. So we're managing temporal synchronization between different sensor types. We're managing spatial registration to ensure that we maintain extrinsic calibration between different sensors to each other and to a chassis that they're attached to. We take that one step further and do intrinsic calibration, which it can be done for any number of sensors or modalities with our system. And we've also just launched a sensor multiplexer, which is sitting on the host and listening to sensor streams, finding anomalies and trying to proactively correct those.
So when you're developing this, is it for, you're starting out with a couple of sensors that you're picking up from the market that these are high value sensors?
Yeah.
Is this a large number of sensors, or what's your strategy?
Yeah, so actually part of what we do there is part of this patent pending structure we've created called the Plex.
Yeah.
And so a Plex takes any sensor type and looks at it from an atomic component level. And by that I mean, so take for example an Intel RealSense. Most platforms would interpret this as a single sensor. We interpret it actually as, for instance, for a D435i, 2 infrared cameras, an RGB camera, an IMU, a synthesized depth stream. Each one of those components in the estimation of the Plex has its own spatial and temporal relationship to every other component on the RealSense, to every other component with any other system connected, to the chassis, and to all the synthetic components. As a result, when we have a new sensor that hasn't been integrated to our platform before, we simply turn it into a Plex like any other sensor, and we can interpret all of its spatial and temporal relationships and outputs in the same way that we would any other. So it simplifies that process.
And so are you planning to make any, say, strategic partnerships with sensor companies so that these things are just integrated out of the box?
Sure.
Because this for them solves a challenge that they don't want to address.
Sure.
So like writing software and making things easy, they just want to sell, right?
Yep. We do have relationships with a number of sensor companies. The only official one we have is with Velodyne. We're an official partner of Velodyne. but obviously we talk with multiple other sensor manufacturers, including our alma mater, Exhibitor, to make sure that their sensors can be easily used on our platform.
Awesome. And do you guys have any plans near future? Anything you're excited about?
Yeah, well, we just closed our second round of funding, so we're hiring aggressively. So we're planning on bringing on more perception specialists and just accelerating the development of our platform. Actually, the biggest product development for us is that we're going to be moving towards online calibration later this year, where instead of needing fiducial markers for calibration, we can use scene data and calibrate from that in a dynamic fashion.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you very much.